We have we're almost done with our program. We now have a really interesting session about security. The session is held by Keith and by Orion. Orion is working for Squads, which is a multi-sig wallet on Solana, a really good product. I would advise you to use it. And there's, of course, Keith. Keith is working for Trezor. Yeah, they do amazing cold wallets. So if you don't have one, you know, just watch the session. Okay, I give it up to Orion. Thank you.
Björn, do I need a mic or no? Do I need a mic or no? Brauche ich's? Ist an, passt ja. Und Screen und so läuft alles schon? Ja, passt. Super. All right. Yeah. Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name's Orion. I'm the lead protocol engineer at Squads, which is a fancy way for saying that I work on the programs that we write and get formally verified. And I'm here with Keith today from Trezor, a very prominent cold wallet / hardware wallet manufacturer and vendor, to discuss security and self-custody first and foremost. So as you can see from the title, Secure Self-Custody 101, Scorching Hot versus Tinfoil Hat Cold. What level can you reach and where are you at? We're going to cover that in this talk. And to start, I'll give you a little overview of what we're going to do. So first of all, we cover the basics. What can I use for self-custody? Wallets, et cetera. Like how do you even start with self-custody? Then we're going to do, I'm going to out of the shadow here. Then we're going to do the Trezor ethos and background with Keith. So he's going to give a little bit of background and generally how kind of the background on Trezor and how they operate and why they do what they do. Then we'll go into like a practical implementation as to how you use self-custody and how it kind of feels in the different methods that you can use. And then we'll just have a quick Q&A session if anybody has any questions for self-custody in general and operating cold wallets, hardware wallets, hot wallets, etc. So first off, we'll start with like types of wallets. This is kind of where you store your assets, right, on very basic level. And we're going to divide this into 3 tiers just for personal self-custody, which are hot wallets. So like Soulflare, Phantom, Backpack, etc. The ones we're all used to. Then we've got hardware wallets, so like Trezor, Ledger, Keystone, all those. And then we have the 3rd tier, which is like smart / multi-sig wallet, which is like the squads that I work for. Let's start with hot wallets. Like a quick TLDR on these guys is that the private key is stored in browser or in an app, right? It has excellent UX. It's very simple to use. You can connect it to basically anything. Everything's like 1 click away. Super straightforward, but it's also the least secure. So some of you who haven't gotten your hot wallets compromised yet or depends on how you feel. Once you've experienced it, you really don't like them anymore, but they're useful for when you want to just do a quick swap somewhere or interact with DeFi, etc. And we'll go next to hardware wallets, cold hardware wallets, right? The big thing here is that the private key is stored on a secure, protected device outside of the browser, so you can't compromise it from inside the browser. It's much harder to phish. It's much harder to hack. And it's usually protected behind like a pretty complex passcode or PIN code. And the UX is great. Like once you get used to using a hardware wallet, it kind of becomes second nature, but an extra device is required. So if you're using a hardware wallet, you have to walk around with a little USB stick or like a Trezor or whatever in your backpack if you want to do anything with it. That's the one downside. But it is also the securest form of private key storage that you can have. This is as protected as your private key is going to get if you manage your seed phrase correctly, but that's another story. But basically, if you're going to store a private key, this is the securest way to do so. And next is the smart / multi-sig wallet. This is kind of a combo of both of these, or can be a combo of both of these, but the point here is that you create redundance and security by having multiple keys. So instead of having all of your assets on one key, you can essentially store your assets behind a gate of multiple keys. So you need to reach some form of consensus with all of your keys or some of your keys to even do something or reach kind of the threshold to execute said action. This also has good UX, similar to the hardware wallets, but it has high maintenance. Because every time you want to do one action, you need to cast, let's say, 2 or 3 approvals with each of your wallets to make sure that the action is actually approved. This is kind of like what you'd consider like 2FA on Google, if you have like codes on your phone of the SMS when you do a bank transfer, et cetera, right? It's kind of high maintenance. You get text messages, emails, et cetera, and you have to punch in a bunch of codes. But this is also the most secure and redundant form of self-custody if you use the right vendor, such as Squads and Trezor. This means that if you combine hardware wallets, which are the securest form of private key storage, with a multi-sig/smart wallet, you get the best of both worlds of having, okay, I have really secure private key storage, but I also have redundancy where if I lose one private key or if one private key gets compromised, if somebody steals my ledger, my assets aren't gone, right? So next, we're going to get into like Trezor in general, the background and the ethos, and I'm going to hand it over to Keith. Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan. Hey, how's it going? My name is Keith. I'm the Senior BD Manager at Trezor. I've been working at Trezor since March of this year, but I've been a customer since 2019. And we're going to start off with who, what, where is Trezor, and then we're going to go into why Trezor was a good option for me as someone who wanted to custody their funds and also be able to travel and have peace of mind that my funds were safe at home. So yeah, 2013. Sorry. I think we're on track now. Do I need to redo that? Or it's good?
It's good now.
All right, cool. So let's start. Who, what, where is Trezor? 2013, Trezor was founded in Prague in Czech Republic by Stick and Slush. For anyone who has done any mining in the past, Slush might be familiar as it's the founder of Slush Pool. And why was it founded? It was an idea to get your private keys off machines that were connected to the internet, to make sure they were safe from malware, hackers, or any of this kind of stuff. There is an unfortunate situation where Slush had lost 3,000 Bitcoin back in the day, which could have been avoided maybe if it was on a cold wallet. So this is kind of what started it. 2013, 2014, Satoshi Labs, who were the holding company of Trezor, created the BIP39 and BIP44, which are used throughout all wallets today, the 12-word recovery phrase and HD wallets. 2014 arrives the Model 1, which is the world's first hardware wallet. And then 2019, again, Satoshi Labs comes up with the multi-share backup. You might know it as the Shamir secret sharing. We also call it SLIP39, which is the upgrade to BIP39, which we'll talk about a small bit later. And then this year and last year, we launched the Trezor Safe family, so with the Safe 3 and Safe 5. And within these, multi-share is established as a new standard for wallet backups. You still can use BIP39, but the default setting is SLIP39 or multi-sharing.
Wait, Trezor was the first hardware wallet?
Correct.
Ever?
Ever.
Whoa.
Well, I think Ledger came out also 2014, but later in that year. It is very close. Cool. So open source wallet for open source money. And why is this important? Trezor has been around for, I guess, 11 years now, or 10 years, sorry, since the Model 1. So that's 10 years of people testing this almost every day. 10 years of people looking at the code before they decide to put their money into it, before they put their life savings or nest egg. So open source code allows for public scrutiny, and we've every vulnerability, any issue, any improvement that has been identified or suggested by the community, this has been taken on board. And this helps build user confidence in the wallet's integrity. And one thing that I've realized since working with the company is that we also push our partners to this standard as well. One example is that we launched Ethereum staking this year, and we're in talks. Our provider agreed to also open source the smart contracts that were associated with that. So it's not just within our device; it's within our partners and everything we do. Enhanced security and cooperation. Again, this is the idea of people just constantly looking at the code. It brings about global improvement through global participation. And one thing that's quite nice is if you want to see an improvement in Trezor, you want to see a new coin, you can make the PR, and it's something that the team will consider. And the last thing, user empowerment. Every customer, anyone that uses Trezor can verify, compile. They can modify the code. I know some people who use Trezors for multi-sig governs DAO proposals, and they've created their own, what would it be called? Their own firmware to make that happen. And the last thing, open source provides independence from company updates. If Trezor was to stop tomorrow, everybody can still continue using their Trezor. They can take the code, they can fork it, they can do whatever they wish. So this is quite important when putting your life savings behind a company. Second thing, protect your seed with a passphrase. This is almost like putting a password on top of your 12 words. So your 12-word recovery phrase, everyone I hope knows at this point, is that if someone was to get it, they can take your 12 words, they can put it into any other wallet, and then they have access to your funds. If you have a passphrase on top of that 12-word recovery phrase, though, they also need your passphrase. So it gives you that extra bit of safety. When I started putting my life savings into Trezor back in 2019, one thing that was important to me, because I was doing a lot of traveling at the time, is to have this passphrase on top of the 12 words. I would fear anytime I went traveling that someone would break into my house, or that a fire would start, or that a next door neighbor would flood the place. Well, mainly about the passphrase being taken. Different example. But anyway, passphrase is very important for an extra layer of recovery or security, privacy, and anonymity. One thing that's really nice you can do with a passphrase is that you can hide your wallets, because only you know the passphrase. So imagine a situation where someone breaks into your house, they know you have a Trezor, they make you open your app. You could have a dummy account as the initial app. So you can have €1,000 in it worth of Bitcoin, and you can have your main stack hidden behind the passphrase. And they don't know. It doesn't show up on the device or it doesn't show up in the app until you put in that exact passphrase. So the person gets away with €1,000, not the end of the world. You have the rest of your money safe behind the passphrase. And last thing, versatile backup options. You can create multiple different wallets. Maybe one is for daily spending, one is for savings, one is for your business, one is for the wedding in the future. You can be creative. And the last one that I'm going to talk about here in terms of like what was important to me when choosing this wallet, multi-share for peace of mind. This is the multi-share that I mentioned earlier about the SLIP 39. This is the idea that you get one, you can start with one passphrase, and then you can split it up into multiple shares. Let's say if you have 3 different shares, or 5 different shares, or 7 different shares, you can decide how many shares of that recovery phrase need to be used in order to recover your funds. Let's just keep it simple. You have 3 different shares, and you set a threshold of 2. That means 2 different recovery phrases are going to be needed to get those funds. And that allows you to keep maybe 1 share at home, 1 share in the bank or storage, 1 share maybe at your mother's house. And if your house is broken into and someone took your 1 share, they can't get access to your wallet. They would still need to go to your bank or your storage, and then they'd have to find out where your mother lives. So it gives you that extra peace of mind, and it removes this single point of failure. Again, there's an increased protection against theft and loss. Imagine if your house went on fire, you still have 2 other shares in the world that you can get back to. And the last thing I want to talk about here is future-proofing and scalable security. Some people aren't ready to kind of take all these things on at once, but we want the option there for customers. So they can start with a 101 with the 20-word recovery phrase, and then at any point in the future, they can decide to turn that 101 into a 2 of 3, a 3 of 5, a 5 of 7. And yeah, I'd like to just touch on Trezor and Solana. Trezor added Solana back in December of 2023. We have integration with a few different DeFi platforms, such as Backpack, Squads with Orion, Jupiter, and Meteora. And what is the future of Solana and Trezor? While on firmware, and if you were to use via a third-party wallet, you can do Solana staking right now, and you can interact with Token 22. But these are things that we're actively integrating into Trezor Suite so that customers can just experience it on our native app. And yeah, we're looking forward to kind of more collaborations, like with the likes of Super Team and Squads that deliver a safe and secure experience for all Solana users in Trezor. And the last thing I'll mention, and I think it's a good segue to the demo we're going to be doing later. This is a tweet from Anatoly after we integrated with Backpack. And it kind of gives this kind of tinfoil hat option for people that really want to implement the steps that I mentioned previous, and then go 1 step further with a multi-sig wallet. where you can use Trezor, Ledger, and Keystone, and the Squads protocol to kind of save your money and save your future. Anyway, I'll hand it back over to Ryan for a demonstration.
Thank you, sir. Right, so we're going to get into some practical examples now. Pretty straightforward. We're just going to do a simple token transfer. So I'm going to send some SOL to a recipient, and we're going to do that with both a single hot wallet. You see how easy it is? We'll do it with a Trezor. Hopefully I can get it to screen share with my phone, and we can see what it looks like. And then we're going to do it with a squad that consists of the hot wallet, a Trezor, and a Ledger. And we'll set it up. And then you'll see kind of like the maintenance versus security, but also the upsides of having multiple keys behind one wallet, right? So let's start off with a hot wallet. I'm just going to put this down. I'm just going to try to speak louder so you can hear me. I guess I can turn this off. Hold up. Yeah, here we go. Sweet. All righty. So we're going to use Backpack. Backpack has support for, is one of the only wallets that has support for all three at the moment, which is for Trezor, Ledger, and Keystone. Sure. So as you can see here, you can probably see, yeah, correctly, perfectly. Let me just make this bigger. Okay. We have three wallets here, which is my hot wallet, the Ledger, and the Trezor, right? And then we have the recipient so that we can actually copy and paste everything back and forth. But we're going to transfer from the hot wallet to the recipient first. So I'm just going to copy the recipient's address. I've got some SOL here. I'm going to send, hit SOL, enter address. I'm going to send it to the recipient, and we're going to send him, let's say 0.01. Review it. Simple approve. Super straightforward, right? This is really convenient, as I said, for anything DeFi, for anything sending, swaps, whatever. Problem is, it's also just that easy if somebody compromises your computer to get your funds drained. And that's not hard at all. If your password is not safe, it's a bad idea. Next, we're going to use the Trezor. Let me see. Let me see if I can get this to share correctly. I wonder. Sweet. I'm going to have Keith come over because it's actually his Trezor, but we're going to wait. So we're also going to send 0.01 to the recipient. 1 second. We're going to select it. We're just going to kind of show this in a second. Hold up. Yeah, I'm going to say it's his code.
There we go. I think this
Sweet. Sweet. So it's opening up. I wonder if this is going to be.
Yeah. One more time.
One more time. Okay.
Boom.
Sweet. Okay. All right. So now the ledger's connected, and we're using it through Backpack. You'll hit review. So in this case, we'll hit review. We're going to approve it. It's just sending it to the recipient. And now we have to pop this out with the extension. I assume I have to, okay. I have to do it in pop-top mode. Let's go. Recipient, 0.01. Review. And you'll notice now, so we have the device connected, so I have to carry this everywhere I go. If I want to approve it, allow once for this session, and you'll see now it's please review your passphrase, or please enter your passphrase. Standard wallet. Yeah, no passphrase. And so you see the recipient is the address that we are sending to. Swipe up. It says 0.01 is the amount, the expected network fee. Continue holding to sign. And you'll see it's actually going through now. So pretty seamless UX, but again, it's a little bit more involved. You have to connect your Trezor, unlock it with a PIN, go through this whole kind of flow. But it's also much, much harder to steal your funds. So that's kind of the show.
It's just pressing, it's not actually reading.
Yeah, no, it's just that you're confirming. You're just holding down. Exactly. Sweet. Okay. So that's done. So now we're going to go and kind of combine all of those three, and we're going to say, okay, I'm going to go to, still streaming, good. App.squad.so, and I'm going to create it with my hot wallet. So we're going to go to my hot wallet. We're going to create a squad. Call this, like, I don't know, radar testing. So now you see that we have members. So this is the first member, which is me, my hot wallet. We're going to add the member, and we're going to say, okay, I'm going to grab my ledger as the second member. And then we're going to add the Trezor as the third member. Right. And now we have the threshold. So we have 3 members, and we want to set how many people need to approve for a transaction to go through. Generally, it's best practice to not set a 3 out of 3, like a full threshold, because that means if one of the keys gets lost, then your funds are also lost because you have a 3 out of 3. You can never reach the threshold again. So generally, it's good practice to set it lower than the actual members amount. So in this case, we're going to go with a 2 out of 3. You can see 3 members, 2 out of 3, deployment fee, etc. Confirm. Let's see if Backpack wants to cooperate here. Hot wallet and approve. Of course, once the demo god's hidden, then everything dies, but yeah. Let's see. There we go. This should hopefully work. Let's see. Yeah, so it's been taken out of my account. I'm just going to reload this, and it should actually. Let's go before squad this. So. I should have a squad. Let me just check my. So it should. Wonder why it's not finding it yet, but it's created. I just looked at the instruction and the transaction. Everything's fine. It went through, so. Let me see. Let's see if we connect with a different number. Hold up. There we go. Okay. Now it's showing up finally. So you can see here, squad is radar hackathon testing. You can see it has like a couple cents in it. We can check here. We've got members, so we have the 3 members. You can edit the names. Right now, we're just going to leave them at the 3 permissions they have, so they can each propose things, they can each vote on things, and they can each execute things. And so now let's say I want to transfer out. I'm going to send some SOL to the squad first. So I'm going to deposit some money into it. Grab the address. Send it from the hot wallet. Next. Review. All right, sweet. Now you can see the balance updated. We have $1.88, not much, but just for demo purposes, we'll do this. So now let's connect with my ledger. We're going to propose to send something to the recipient again. So transactions, there's none yet. We're going to send. You can see we're going to send it to another wallet. Going to copy the recipient's address here. You can see wallet, insert address, and then we'll do 0.05. One. There we go. You can add a note. We're not going to add a note in this case. I probably need to connect my ledger first. So I've got my ledger on hand. I'm just going to put this down. So this is just as involved as with the Trezor, so I have to punch in a PIN code. Sweet. Okay. Now if I initiate it, it'll pop it out again. Do I have any money on here? Let's see. Okay, let's try with the hot wallet instead. Demo gods are really not on our side today. It's not usually this complicated. It usually just works. Okay, 5W. Sweet. I think this is us. Yeah, sweet. Okay. Send another wallet. Paste the recipient, 0.01. Initiate. Reverted, okay. Let me try again. Don't know what is going on, but yeah, really not doing it today. Hold up. Let me make sure everything's in order here. Sorry, folks. Just gonna send some more. Let's see. Send some money back to a wallet. Okay. Let's see if this works now. I've just chopped up my hot wallet with a little bit more money so that we can actually do stuff. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So now we're creating the transaction with my hot wallet, which is super straightforward. And then I'm going to have Keith come over and confirm it with his ledger. And so now you can see that it's active. With the Trezor. You can see right here, 1 out of 2 have approved it, which means I, as a hot wallet, have approved it. We're still missing 1 for the threshold to actually execute. So you can see you can't approve it or execute it because I've already approved it with my own wallet. So if we switch wallets to the Trezor, you can see it switches, and now we actually have the approve button not grayed out anymore. We can actually hit approve and execute. Let's see. Hit approve. Let's see. I might need to connect. Yeah, hold up. Disconnect. Trezor, sweet.
One guy.
Oh, standard wallet.
Is there, but really, it's nothing is tracked. He says he gets a 500 error. I'm just wondering if we can see. Probably. What infos do we have here? But post, okay. What does the error say? Waited too long. Oh, okay, so which do you see which field it is? Maybe the It's probably the URL, right? Gotcha. Because then we can just increase the value.
It was a send for 0.01 Sol. It was confirmed by these two wallets, namely my hot wallet and the Trezor. If I didn't have the Trezor on hand, I could do it with my ledger and approve it with that. And you're free to kind of add more members as you go, or remove members, change permissions, etc. You can do anything you want from inside the squad. So you can stake. DeFi interactions are there as well. General treasury management with multiple accounts. It's kind of like a hardware wallet, but kind of as a smart wallet. Yeah, sorry for the lengthy demo and the demo gods, but I hope I get the point across. You can see this is kind of way more involved, but way more secure. So if I lose one of the keys, I'm fine. If somebody steals one of the keys, I'm fine. Yeah, that's it. If you guys have any questions now, we'll go into the Q&A session. Any questions? Yeah, go. Yep.
So I'll start with this. So this seems like a pretty straightforward question, but whenever you are changing the rules on this squad wallet, do you have to is there like one person? Hello, internet. Is there like what's the process look like whenever you want to add like more signatures to the wallet?
Right. So you actually you create a transaction that will add a member, and if that proposal passes, every proposal before it, if it's still active, becomes stale. So once you actually change the rules, any proposals created before then go stale. If you initiated a transfer, it's being voted on, but then you add a member afterwards, and that member gets added and it actually gets approved, that transfer then goes stale because the new member can cause weird invariance if you leave it in. So basically, if you change a rule, all the transactions that are currently active and have been proposed are void. You have to repropose them. So generally, when you're adding members or changing threshold or doing any of these settings changes, there's no threat of like old transactions being wonky or being executed that you didn't want to. Yeah.
Cool. And I guess like a follow-up question on that is, to what degree are you able to within the wallet attach identities to the wallet holders? Like, because I think there's like an email option I saw, like you can.
Yeah, so we teamed up with TipLink, and you can actually log in with TipLink and stuff like that. So if that can be your hot wallet, so you can link it with your email, and then you can have like a cold wallet, like a hardware Trezor or whatever, connected to your squad, and then you can primarily log in with your email, and whenever you actually want to execute things, you can execute them with the Trezor. The other thing that we also have is that if you ever want to have kind of that like best of both worlds of really easy access, but then also secure funds, we have something called spending limits, which means you can set up a rule that says my hot wallet gets to pull out $100 per week from my squad without needing consensus, without requiring all approvals, but not beyond those $100. So if let's say you have like 10,000 in a squad, your hot wallet can pull off 100 a week that resets every week, so that you can actually use it for like regular expenses, swaps, whatever you want to do in DeFi, without actually endangering the rest of your funds in the squad.
And so in this context, does that apply? Like, let's say you set a $100 limit. Does that apply to all members, or is that per member?
It's per member, okay. And you can also specify destinations.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, thank you.
And yeah.
All right, so Keith, now I got a question. So this is kind of like an edge situation, but it has happened, so it is like a big concern. So you brought up this case of where, let's say somebody breaks into your home and forces you to unlock your cold storage and transfer them funds. And the Trezor wallet offers that kind of, I guess, dummy. I don't even know. I don't know. Which one? Yeah, the dummy passphrase, and that gives you, I guess, a dummy source of funds that you can then transfer, and then you mitigate kind of that risk. How does that work in the case where you're doing a multi-share Trezor? What if somebody is, again, there has been cases like that one family in South Carolina, North Carolina, where they got like broken into and forced to give all their Bitcoin away. What would be in like place where somebody has a multi-share Trezor, and let's say one of the keys is at their parents' house, somebody breaks in, tries to force them to give them money. Is there a possibility to have this multi-share to access your actual funds, and then you also use a like
if
a
I understand
single.
correctly, you're asking if you can put a passphrase on top of multi-share?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You can. It's one of the
Okay.
things I forgot to say in the
Oh,
things
okay.
fair play for noticing. But like, you on like let's say the 20 it's a 20-word phrase, the multi-phrase, and we consider the passphrase your 21. And 21 is it's originally a Bitcoin company. 21 million Bitcoin is kind of the one behind this. So your passphrase, you should have one. It was recommended. It does come with a bit of knowledge. You have to know. You basically have to make sure you know that forever. If you enter it wrong, you'll actually create a new wallet. So there is some new responsibility you have to take on when you put in a passphrase. But yeah, multi-share. If you only have your one share in your house, but your two spread across the world, for ease of argument for three, you can have your passphrase on top. So you're still protected against these $5 rent attacks.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Any more questions?
This hardware, where is produced, like in China or somewhere?
The hardware wallets?
So
No, the device, the hardware, like plastic,
Ye-
semiconductor.
Right.
yeah, so I can speak to that. Leave it to us. The parts are created in China, but they are not. I don't think 100% there. I don't know the exact breakdown, but in terms of assembling, it's all assembled in Czech Republic.
How the security meter, like why device, like it was banned in USA and other things, so it can come about to replace the hardware.
Sorry, say that again.
Like Huawei mobile,
Yeah.
device, it was banned in many countries, so it can be also case with some hardware wallet.
I mean, you can't rule out anything being banned. Who knows what can happen tomorrow? But
And that's why it's excellent with that tweet to say, okay, I'm going to have a multi-sig between a Keystone hardware wallet, a Ledger hardware wallet, and a Trezor hardware wallet. You're really not exposing yourself to any single point of failure, even the wallet vendor blowing up, being banned, whatever comes at you. Like that's like basically the purest and highest form of like protection and tinfoil hattery, I would say, for your funds is like nothing but hardware wallets on a multi-sig that are all from different vendors. And you're basically, I mean, if you still get screwed somehow, that's like an insane amount of unlock. Like, I mean, you are really chalking up your chances to.
someone doesn't want you to be. Doesn't want you to have a future if that's the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, good question. But yeah, who knows?
Is there any like option to make it more user-friendly, like for newcomers, not do so many steps?
Yeah, this is.
Pass instead of seed phase and so many phase, and also swiping like seed phase and deployment fees.
Yeah, this is always the kind of constant question between like safety lies somewhere between usability and security. Like you can't have 100 steps or else no one's going to use it. But if you have only one step, then it's easier, like as the hot wallet example, it's easier to steal your funds. So it's always like a good question, and it's always something that, everyone wants to strive towards good customer experience and being safe. So like I think everyone in space is kind of working towards this, not just Trezor, not just Ledger, not just squads, but I think everyone is like, how do we make sure that we create safe experiences that are easy to go through?
I think banking is an excellent example of like a workflow that we're all used to that's quite simple, but also has some complexities, right? You have sometimes confirm on multiple devices. You have to initiate transfers. You have to know a little bit about how your banking app works, et cetera. So crypto's, I guess the end goal there is to make it as smooth and nice of a UX as like centralized like banking is, but with the added benefit that they're all, you're self-custodying your funds and nobody can actually take funds from you. And so, yeah, we're working towards that. The one thing that really stands in the way is this whole seed phrase thing. And there's a bazillion companies trying to work on trying to remove that step somehow. The problem is that with banks and kind of like centralized platforms, they kind of handhold you and protect you, right? And so you don't need the seed phrase. But that means you're also not really assuming responsibility for your own actions and your own funds. You're just saying, hey, bank, do this for me. I mean, the core kind of principle of crypto is that you are assuming full self-responsibility for all of your funds and what's attached to them. And it's, I guess, partially also kind of a mechanic that we need to get used to because we're not used to this kind of full responsibility mode of operation that a lot of like centralized finance platforms have, right? And it's just like Google held your hand. Somebody tried to access your wallet from, I don't know, India, and you're usually in Berlin, they block the login attempt, et cetera, right? There's a lot of hand-holding. There's a lot of like moving responsibility from us and our funds to the platform that we're using. And so, yeah, it's kind of like it's a dilemma, but.
One thing as well that you can do is, with the bank example, a lot of banks these days will allow you to create different spaces or kind of sections so that you can have maybe like almost like a hot wallet that is connected to your credit card or debit card, where you use that every day. But then you have another space that has the rest of your savings that you maybe use for paying rent and whatnot. And you can kind of think of crypto as that thing where it's maybe like a hot wallet that down the line doesn't use seed phrases, but uses some of this kind of account abstraction stuff. That's your everyday spender. Maybe your ledger, your Trezor. That's your second step where you have some funds for rent or some funds just a bit more of a stack. And then we're all lucky enough to be able to get a house out of this. That's where you'd start putting stuff into squads. So as the amount that you're trying to secure increases, the complexity gets a bit more as well. There's steps, but you're kind of safe then.
And Squad, if you guys have an iOS device, Squad's just recently launched a wallet of their own called Fuse that's built on the multi-sig principle, but has the UX friendliness of like Phantom. And that has no seed phrases. It uses kind of the recovery mechanism of multiple wallets and emails so that you actually don't have a seed phrase at all. You just have Face ID, you have an email recovery, etc. So it's kind of stepping in that direction as well.
I have one question regarding fees, slippage and deployment fees. So if you are doing big amounts, so you are using Phantom wallet. So they're like Jupyter wallet somewhere you can limit buy, limit sell, like swapping price at market price.
Right.
Market price. So is there some feature like Jupyter? I don't know.
Yeah, so we like Squad's integrated Jupyter limit orders. So you can do Jupyter limit orders from inside the Squad. You can set them as you would with your Phantom wallet from inside the comfort of your own Squad. And we're integrating other marketplaces, like markets, order books such as like Phoenix or OpenBook. So in the future, you'll be able to do everything you want from inside a Squad. Whether doesn't matter, you can do whatever you want. There's no kind of it should function as any other wallet except that it's abstracted, right? Yeah. Otherwise, we're set. Or I think we're good. Sweet.
All right.
Thanks for your time, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Oops. Yeah, this ends our session, our courses, the stuff for the last days. Thank you all so much for listening, for your questions, for everything. Thanks Orion and Keith for the last round. And yeah, if you have questions still, we are all here. Just ask. There is a whiteboard over there. Put your name on it. There's going to be time slots. And yeah, thanks so much and see you soon.